Now we're talking not about choosing a spouse for love, but choosing a spouse for them being ideal for your career. And I guess according to this story, you can have both. Somebody that you are in love with, but who also truly elevates your career. Now, conscientiousness is one of the so-called big five personality traits that I guess we should all be looking for if we're hoping that our spouse will elevate our career.
What does that mean? Because really they don't explain it. Conscientiousness, that you are just mindful of what their needs are and what their wants are in terms of their career?
I'll give an example in maybe a traditional male-female relationship. If the female's saying, hey, we just had kids and I want to continue to work, instead of the male saying, okay, I'm gonna work 9 to 5, but also I'm gonna have a business meeting every day after work, and also I need to leave early because I'm going to entertain this client. Conscientiousness would be saying, hey, wife, I know that we had these kids together, and I know you would also like to continue to work, so why don't we discuss the week ahead of time, and if you have a business dinner, or if you have a client to entertain, or if you want me to take the kids to school, that would, because those are the things that if you don't have a partner who does that, it is very difficult to elevate your career, and that's male or female either way, but that sort of happens sometimes with the women.
This has me wondering, though, what happens in a relationship when one or the other's career aspirations change and you're left to have to, because you're in a relationship, right? And what comes to mind is a friend of mine who married someone who was very much on the marketing executive corporate track, and everything was going really well, and they were making a lot of money, and then he decided he wanted to take that MBA and take the money he'd made, that he'd saved up, and put himself through school to get a PhD, and is now a professor, which is a completely different life. And they're not making, that kind of money you make as being a marketing executive versus a professor, not the same. Now, my friend she's adjusted to it, and she's fine, and she's glad that he's finding something that he loves more. But there was a period of time where she was like, this is going to change our lifestyle and going to change our financial goals and going to change a lot. I wonder if some couples don't survive that, yo.
Yeah. I was thinking about people who are in show business. When they're performers, they speak the same language. They're in the same tribe. They understand the dynamics of being in the business. One day you're up, one day you're down. And you don't have to explain everything. It's like it's a given.
But at the same time, it's nice, from my own experience, to be with somebody who's not in the business, because it gives you a break from having to, you're always talk about it, right? Or they bring a different perspective as an outsider and can provide you, sometimes with a better point of view about something, because they're not so close to it.
Exactly.
That's very true.
That's a good point.
That's very true.
Like, I wonder, like Heath and his advice for you over the years with your career since you've met him, because he's not in your business at all. He's more of the viewer.
Yes, and he works in the business world, so he's been helpful when, this business, if we're all just talking to each other, we think, oh, you're not allowed to talk about money, you're not allowed to share what you make, you're not allowed to share your contracts. Every other business is transparent about that. Ours is very secretive. So I think sometimes when somebody comes in and they're like, hey, wait a minute, why aren't we, we need to look at this, have this contract looked over by an attorney, or we need to bring in outside counsel. It's like, do we? Or he thought, agents. So our business, people have agents, and you can pay like 10% of your salary to this person for
doing nothing.
For doing literally doing nothing. And then a spouse comes in and is like, excuse me, what is this, like, what is this person actually doing for us? Yeah.
And then we've been trying to say, oh, it's a write-off. Well, yeah, it's a write-off, but you could be giving.
You could be actually
get a little of your 10% back, but you don't get it all back.
But so these other 4, we mentioned that first one being conscientious. The other 4 are extroversion, being agreeable, openness, and I'm not familiar with this term, neuroticism.
Neuroticism. Is that like a form of neuroses? You're neurotic? No?
Oh, okay. So I guess these are helpful, because the main thing is that when somebody has all these things, they agree to take on more of the housework, more of sort of like those tasks and chores that you have to do around the house, which allows both partners to have more time to be out and about.
What we're trying to say here is you got to be supportive of your spouse's interests, and those interests might change. And if you're not, it really could lend itself to the end of the relationship, because that's such an important part of everyone's life. Connecting with a career that brings them joy, that they're passionate about. And if they don't have the support in a relationship, when things are down or things are good, then it could cause major problems.
Encouraging exploratory behavior, I guess, is what your friend was dealing with. Like,
Yeah.
she had to decide, I'm going to encourage this exploratory behavior.
Yeah, because they were like, okay, so let me understand this. So for 2 years, you're going to be getting this PhD, so you're not going to have that income coming in. I'm going to be the only one working, and how much are you going to make when you're done? And then they had to have the conversations about how that changes a lot of things. Yeah.
And now